Good morning, I'm Gretchen Hall. We're coming to you on this Tuesday, on the 25th day of November, bringing you Morning Matters because your mornings matter. Let's get to the stories that matter today. Pasig City Regional Trial Court canceled the passport of former presidential spokesperson Harry Roque. In response, Roque announced via Facebook Live that he will file a motion for reconsideration. President Bongbong Marcos expressed worry over Sister Senator Amy Marcos's following her rally accusation of illegal drug use. While refusing public comment on family matters, the president said he and relatives had been concerned about the senator for some time, adding her recent behavior is not the sister they know. And the November 30 rally organized by the Trillion Peso March movement will feature absolutely no calls for President Marcos or Vice President Duterte to step down. Their primary concern is preventing a leadership vacuum that could be immediately filled by another political dynasty. Welcome to our program, Morning Matters, where we talk about the issues you need to know for the rest of your day. Now, first on the agenda. From weekend arrests to jail transfers, 8 DPWH officials linked to the multi-million peso road dike scam face the Sandigan Bayan. Here's a report.
Following a series of arrests over the weekend, 8 DPWH Mimaropa officials ordered detained for graft and malversation were brought today to the 5th and 6th divisions of the Sandigan Bayan. These charges are in connection with the alleged 289 million peso road dike ghost project in Nauhan Oriental, Mindoro. The booking procedure and issuance of commitment orders lasted 5 hours. Of the 8 arrested, only 1 was allowed to post bail. She is Juliet Calvo, Chief of the Maintenance Division of DPWH Mimaropa. Her bail was set at 90,000 pesos. No bail was recommended for the others. 6 male suspects were brought to the New Quezon City Jail male dormitory, while Lerma Caico was committed to the female dormitory at Camp Karingal after the Sandigan Bayan released their commitment orders. The DILG and BJMP assure the public that no special treatment will be given to the arrested officials. In fact, they have been placed under general population in Building A of the jail facility. The use of gadgets is strictly prohibited, though visits will be allowed within limited hours.
Kasama nila ang mga regular na nakukulong dito sa Quezon City. As directed by Sandigan Bayan, dalhin sila rito. Dinala namin dito. Hindi ho namin hiniwalay
ang tasking ng isang regular na nakakulong. Igising po sila sa umaga, take personal necessities, then kakain, then may saning i-repoke sa taas. Pwede rin ho silang maglaro dyan ng whatsoever.
President Bongbong Marcos is calling on all remaining fugitives to surrender.
Sa mga nagtatangkang tumulong sa pagtatago, tandaan ninyo na kahit papaano mananagot din kayo kung kayo ay nagtatago ng isang fugitive from justice. Sa lahat ng natitirang akusado, ang aking payo sa inyo ay sumuko na kayo. Huwag nyo nang antayin na habul-habulin pa kayo.
An Interpol Blue Notice has been issued for former Congressman Zaldi Co. This was confirmed by Interior and Local Government Secretary John Vic Remulla. A Blue Notice alerts all Interpol member states to monitor the movements of the person tagged. The DILG says they are now working to elevate this to a Red Notice.
The Blue Notice is out. Now that we have now that he is good, the arrest warrant, the Red Notice can be out, and then we will further determine kung nasaan talaga siya. No matter where you are in the world, we will find you. If you are at large, we will find you. If you are hiding in the Philippines, we will find you.
According to Remulla, the government believes that Ko may have traveled using another passport and possibly a different name when he left the country. This is why securing a Red Notice from Interpol would be a significant step.
Ang hula lang namin, reportedly he has another passport that he's using. We believe he's traveling with another passport. We do not know if he's using another name. So, bine-verify pa namin eh.
A court has ordered the cancellation of the passport of former presidential spokesperson Harry Roque over qualified human trafficking charges linked to his alleged involvement in a pogo hub in Porac, Pampanga. Here's a report.
The Pasig City Regional Trial Court has canceled the passport of former presidential spokesperson Harry Roque. The cancellation stems from qualified trafficking in persons charges filed against him in connection with alleged unlawful activities of the Philippine offshore gaming operators in Porac, Pampanga. In a Facebook Live broadcast, Roque stated that he plans to file a motion for reconsideration regarding the matter.
Well, unang-una po, hindi pa po pinalyan. Kaya nga po ako'y nagtataka kung bakit lahat sila ay sinasabi na kanselado ng passport ko. Meron pa po akong 15 araw para mag-file ng motion for reconsideration at nagfa-file po ako ng motion for reconsideration. Bakit po? Kasi sa tingin ko, mali po yung reasoning ng hukuman.
He also argued that the court's justification for revoking his passport was flawed, stressing that the right to seek asylum is a recognized human right.
So, sa tingin ko po, kapag ikaw ay humiling ng asylum sa ibang bansa, hindi po yan unjustifiable. Hindi po yang walang dahilan para hindi bumalik ng Pilipinas. Ang katotohanan po, yan ay karapatang pantao at hindi dapat sasabihin na unjustified po yan.
Meanwhile, Presidential Communications Office Secretary Dave Gomez said the cancellation of the passport is part of the judicial process. He explained that his actions, including the issuance of red notices, aim to compel fugitives abroad to return and face charges. Gomez emphasized that revoking their passports is within the state's authority and ensures they are brought back to the country to undergo legal proceedings.
This is all part of the judicial process, no, Maricel, as we know. Nasa labas ng bansa yung mga tinatawag natin yung mga fugitives from justice. Kaya this is part of the natural process to bring them back home and face the charges against them. No? So yung pagkansela ng kanilang passport ay parte ng kapangyarihan ng Estado at part of the judicial process para masiguradong makauwi sila to face the charges back in the country.
President Bongbong Marcos expressed concern over Senator Amy Marcos after she accused him of using illegal drugs during a recent rally of Iglesia ni Cristo. Asked for a reaction, the president said he preferred not to discuss family matters in public, but admitted that he, along with relatives and close friends, had been worried about the senator for some time. He added that the behavior seen from Senator Amy Marcos in recent weeks is not the sister they know.
So I'll just say this much. For a while now, we've been very worried about my sister. When I say we, I'm talking about friends and family. And the reason that is because the lady that you see talking on TV is not my sister. And that view is shared by our cousins, our friends. Hindi siya yan. Hindi siya yan. So that's why we worry. So we are very worried about her. I hope she feels better soon.
Senator Amy Marcos later responded in a Facebook post telling the president, "Bongbong, it's me, you're seeing things. Prove me wrong. I want to be wrong." And coming right up, we'll discuss developments concerning Zaldico and Harry Roque with former Integrated Bar of the Philippines President Attorney Domingo Cayosa. Don't go away. Morning Matters will be back. Good morning, Impression on your Morning Matters. We talk about the most pressing issues and give you context behind the headlines. As we know, an Interpol Blue Notice has been issued for former Congressman Zalti Ko. This was confirmed by Field Local Secretary John Vic Remulla. He added that they are now working to elevate this to red notice. Meanwhile, the Pasig City Regional Trial Court has canceled the passport of former presidential spokesperson Harry Roque. This stems from qualified human trafficking charges linked to his alleged involvement in a pogo hub in Porac, Pampanga. Joining us today on the show, we have former Integrated Bar of the Philippines President Attorney Domingo Cayosa. Magandang umaga po sa inyo. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, Gretchen. Magandang umaga sa ating mga kababayan.
Okay, let's start with the item that we just read. There is a cancellation of passport already for former presidential spokesperson Harry Roque. What is the legal threshold for doing that? Can charges be simply enough to cancel one's passport?
Pardon, Gretchen,
Narinig niyo ako?
I miss you. Can you repeat the question?
Okay. Na-cancel na ho yung passport ni Presidential Spokesperson Harry Roque, former. And what is the legal threshold for doing just that? Is it enough that you have charges against you back home?
Yeah, of course, once the passport is cancelled, then he becomes an undocumented alien in any foreign country where he may be found. And under the national laws of these countries, if there's an undocumented alien, he is deported back to his country of origin.
Pero yung basis po for the cancellation of passport, what would it require of the law to allow for that to happen?
But the prosecution has to request for that of the court. So they will inform the court of the need and justify the need for the cancellation of passport. And I think the court will naturally accede to that because it is the duty of the court to bring within its jurisdiction anybody who's charged of a crime before it. So it's not only the duty of the executive branch, but also of the court to preserve the integrity and to maintain the jurisdiction of the court. It is their duty to do everything, issue any related or necessary order that will help compel any accused not submitting himself to the jurisdiction of the court to be forced to do so. And the cancellation of a passport is one of those things that can be done.
So this is merely a means to get him to come back home to answer to the charges?
Yes, it has nothing to do with his guilt or innocence, but it is just a necessary means to make the process move, because without him coming home or without him being placed under the jurisdiction of the court, then he cannot be properly arraigned, because arraignment requires personal presence of the accused.
Is he effectively a fugitive from justice now? And what does it entail to be under that classification?
Technically, you are a fugitive from justice when you are evading a warrant of arrest or you escape from prison. So once there is a warrant of arrest and you evade it, you hide from the law or the servers of the warrant, you are legally a fugitive from justice.
Okay. So in this case, siya po ay fugitive na po?
Yeah, because a case has been filed, the warrant has been issued. So he's technically a fugitive from justice. But in layman's terms, anybody who walks away or runs away from the processes of the court or of law or any agency is actually a fugitive from justice. But the technicality under the rules of court and many other related rules, is that you should be formally charged and a warrant should be issued against you.
Because the government is very specific on that when it comes to the case naman of Zaldico, na pag hindi po siya nag-surrender kahapon, ay siya na po itatawaging fugitive from justice. Does that have any effect on, let's say, application for a red notice from the Interpol?
Yes, it makes a difference. Once a warrant of arrest is lawfully issued by a competent court, then under the Interpol treaty, our country can now request for a red notice, because a red notice is a request to the Interpol and to be issued by the headquarters of the Interpol, the United Nations, issued to all countries, notifying them that the warrant of arrest has been validly issued against this particular person, and they are to help enforce the warrant of arrest. So now, with the red notice, any member of the Interpol treaty is now under obligation to arrest whoever is the subject of that red notice.
Okay. Pero yung an arrest warrant would suffice to be able to obtain red notice.
Yes,
Hindi na po
that's
kailangan
usually-
ng fugitive from justice. That ano lang yung parang jargon lang po 'yon. Oo.
Yeah.
Kasi lagi po nababangkit eh.
Yeah. And it's also important kasi kung minsan people get confused, diba? There's a red notice and there's a blue notice. Ang blue notice naman, wala pang warrant of arrest, pero akusado na siya. So a blue notice is a request to all the countries to watch out for this guy, please monitor his location and inform the requested country kung alam nyo kung nasaan siya. Hindi pa siya a-arrestuin. Maraming kulay yung red notice o yung notice o kaya yung diffusion. Merong orange, may black, may gray, may green. Iba-iba ang meaning niyan.
Parang hold departure order muna, itong blue notice. Tapos yung cancellation ng passport ay equal to the red notice kasi kailangan mo nang umuwi talaga. Pero putting side by side the argument of the former presidential spokesperson that he is being politically persecuted, that's why he's applying for asylum, putting that side by side with an arrest warrant, how do they fight against each other at ano pong mananaig?
Well, that is a legal ploy by Professor Harry Roque, because once a red notice is given, or any notice, the rules of Interpol requires that it should not be politically motivated, racially motivated, or because of religious persecution. So he will try to point that this case is political persecution, because if it is political persecution, the Interpol can refuse to issue the notice. That's one of the key requirements of the notices by the Interpol. It should not be because of politics, religion, race, or a military request.
Okay, so now that he is applying for asylum and waiting for the decision on that, is the arrest warrant, or rather is a red notice, a possible red notice from the Interpol already enforceable, or aantayin din po nila yung resulta ng asylum request po ni Harry Roque?
No, they don't need to wait for that. As a matter of fact,
okay.
the issuance either of the red notice and the warrant of arrest by the local court, once transmitted or once brought to the attention of the Netherlands, where he is seeking political asylum, it will adversely affect his request. We have to remember that the fact that you apply for asylum does not make you automatically a citizen of that country. You remain to be a Filipino citizen, subject to Philippine laws, and you remain to be a foreigner until your request for asylum is granted. Hindi naman automatic ito. So, this will adversely affect his application, especially so the European Community, Netherlands, is very conscious about human trafficking, about international syndicates. They have a very strict, they have very strict laws about this. Ganun din sa corruption. So, mas madali. They'll be very cooperative once they are formally informed about these developments.
You're right to point that out kasi hindi pa natin nababanggit that Harry Roque, along with others, are facing a human trafficking case for alleged involvement in the Philippine offshore gaming operator hub Lucky South 99 in Whirlwind Corporation. So yun po yung bigat nung kasong hinaharap po nila. And I assume that all of these rules will apply in the same way and manner to Congressman Zaldico.
Yes, Congressman Zaldico or anybody else who may be accused of a crime and a warrant is arrest. The Republic of the Philippines can make use of the Interpol facilities. It is important that they do this. They inform Interpol and they also inform the foreign embassies immediately about this. And perhaps, through diplomatic channels, also explain and give a background of all of these cases. Mahihirapan talaga sila magtago in foreign countries. Siguro they can go to, third world countries where they don't care about corruption or human trafficking. But they're very few. And they will be miserable in those countries. Maliliit lang mo yan, mas madali pa silang mahuli siguro.
Although yung mga charges po against Congressman Zaldico are related naman to the flood control project in Nauhan Oriental, Mindoro, which involves the company founded, the SunWest Corporation, at ang legal response po ni Attorney Rui Rondae, nakausap po natin siya kahapon, he will file muna a motion to quash the arrest warrant because of lack of probable cause. Your thoughts on that move by their camp?
But that's usually what lawyers do. Of course, by ethics and the rules, we're supposed to do everything legally possible to protect the interests of our clients. But, there's a thin line between doing that and delaying the processes. So that's the right to file that. But we hope that the local courts will act swiftly on this thing because sometimes our courts, also the judges and justices, are notoriously slow in deciding. And that's one reason why corruption has flourished in this country. So we hope this time that there is so much attention on these graft cases and these scandals that the court will swiftly deal with that so that it does not become a delaying tactic.
Okay. At nabanggit niyo po, mahihirapan sila magtago sa ibang bansa. Pero what if he goes to a country where we have no extradition treaty with? Kaya pa rin po ba marating ng Interpol yun? Let's say Portugal. Pwede po ba pumasok ang Interpol doon?
That's a very appropriate question, and we have to clarify. Requesting for extradition is another thing. You have to have a treaty, a bilateral treaty with the country where he is so that you can apply for request for extradition. And it is a quite lengthy process. You have to go to the courts. And we have only a few countries, about 15 or 16, less than 20 countries that have extradition treaties with us. That's one approach. But the faster approach is to invoke our membership in the Interpol. So that's a totally different process. So once we do that, it's just administrative. It's the United Nations and the Interpol that runs this. It doesn't go through any courts. So
pwede na pong habulin.
Treaty obligation under Interpol is separate from their treaty obligations in an formal extradition treaty.
So, mahihirapan ho talaga, no? I ask this because also of the case, ito nga po, involving the congressman, which is the Nauhan Oriental Mindoro case. Marami po nagtatanong, bakit po yun kaya ang inuna dito ng Office of the Ombudsman, given that ang affiliation lang po na dito, yung SunWest Corporation. Bakit hindi yung Bulacan kung saan marami na po nag-testify na may nagdadala ng mga pera, kasama na po doon yung district engineer, nabanggit na po ilang beses yung kanyang pangalan. In terms of strength of the case, is it the Bulacan case so much stronger enough to, make sure that this arrest warrant holds?
Well, that's the call of the ombudsman or the prosecutor. But I suspect, I would presume, that mas kumpleto yung dokumento dun sa Nauhan project. And also, there's a big difference there. Ang contractor doon, yung kumpanya, SunWest, kumpanya ni Congressman Ko. Even if he has divested, as they claim, there is what we call in law the piercing of the corporate veil. So a corporation or mga transactions cannot be used to shield you from criminal liability or even civil liabilities. So kahit nag-divest yan, kung siya naman talaga actually in control, siya nag-negotiate, siya yung nagmamando, and they can show that, then he will be still held accountable. As a matter of fact, malamang yung mga bigyan niya ng divestment, kapamilya pa rin niya. So lahat sila kinabla.
A burden of proof will be
I
on
suppose
the
they
accuser,
have
though.
more evidence now, and it's much simpler. The other cases, I presume and hope that they will continue the case build-up and continue filing all these cases that can and need be filed.
Because the Bulacan case does involve people high up, senators, right? So it's a much more complex case. But also, there's already a lot of testimonial evidence surrounding that case. And speaking of evidence, lumabas po ang ICI last week with documents that they turned over to the Office of the Ombudsman. At dito po, meron po silang isang dokumento tungkol sa House Speaker where they stop short of saying which laws the President's cousin may have violated. Ang sabi po dun sa dokumento na yun, that it is issued without any finding or conclusion of guilt or liability on the part of former Speaker Martin Romualdez. This statement is in stark contrast to the other documents turnover to the Ombudsman na meron po nakalagay specifically na meron pong possible charges ng graft, malversation, falsification. Ano po ibig sabihin nun? Does that exonerate the speaker? Help us understand this.
Well, I share your belief that you are confused, no? And it's good to explain that in reality, the ICI does not have prosecutorial powers, so they cannot determine probable cause. So, i-turn over na lang din sa ombudsman. And it may be much better if they just keep quiet about it, rather than for some cases they are so certain, and in some cases they say without any finding of guilt. The optics can be terrible, diba? And they have to manage that also because there is heightened expectation and demand and anger on the part of the Filipino people. So pinapakinggan nila lahat ng sinasabi nila. So kung hindi, sa tingin nila hindi pareho ang treatment, it doesn't help the ICI or the credibility of government at all. So mas maganda siguro i-turn over na nila whatever evidence they have and leave it to the ombudsman that is by law authorized to determine probable cause and if necessary, gather more evidence for a better case build-up.
Because it does line up with the President's statement regarding his cousin na walang ebidensya pa sa ngayon ang nagtuturo kay House Speaker. Although ilang beses na ho nabanggit ang kanyang pangalan. Hindi ba, doesn't that merit an investigation at least?
Well, I think they are investigating. As a matter of fact, I heard Ombudsman Boying Remulla say so. But that's why it's very important for Zaldico to come forward and come home. Because for now, until he takes an oath and, submits himself to clarificatory questions and perhaps have corroborative evidence kung meron siya, mahihirapan sila to act on his video expose. And that's why the call is for Zaldico, please come home so that you can substantiate and you can clarify whatever you're saying in video, and now this time do it under oath, because that
Ipahabol
would be
lang ko,
actionable and very important.
Kahapon kasi naglabas po siya ng isa pang panibagong video at dito po niya sinabi na he will be called a terrorist by the government to let the truth bury with him. Help us understand bakit ganun ng kanyang pagbasa sa gagawin ng administrasyon.
Well, obviously these are series of calculated series of exposés, all by video, not under oath, and in a foreign land. So I don't know his predicament. I don't know his motivations, but kailangan mapanuri tayo, di ba? As we demand accountability, we also have to be careful about propaganda, optics, and all wide claims. Baka lang naililihis o kaya mas lalong naguguluhan tayo. So he has to face the music, and at the same time, we hope that he will cooperate in the case build-up against anybody else that he says is really involved in this big guy.
Pero bakit naman ho kaya terorista ang itatag sa kanya? I mean, how could could the government use that? I mean, when an arrest warrant already suffices for the Interpol to move?
Well, he has a very creative imagination. Perhaps he's advised by other lawyers, no? Also because very strict din ang international community against terrorism. But, from what we know, published facts, and ang layo naman sa terrorism itong ginagawa niya. But of course, yun ang sasabihin niya para maawa sa kanya sa tao or perhaps gain credibility. We don't know. But to bitag kasi terrorist, the AMLAC can seize your properties for iba ring track yun.
Yes.
Diba? And then yung paggalaw ng international community talagang maiipit ka kung terorista ka, diba? Pati funding mo, etc. So yun siguro sinasabi niya, but I don't think the prosecutors are careless or stupid to try to make it terrorism, kasi obviously hindi naman, it's graft and corruption, period.
But maybe that's also a legal remedy to be able to get the assets, get it back somehow, no? Posible po yun.
There's an easier way to do that, Gretchen. They can file for future cases, civil preponderance of evidence lang yan. So we're wondering why they're not doing that. As a matter of fact, even in the criminal cases, under Sandigan Bayan rules, the government or the prosecutor can avail of preliminary remedies in civil cases applicable sa Sandigan Bayan cases. Ito yung preliminary attachment ng kanyang ari-arian while the case is ongoing. They can do that. So we're watching if they do that. If they do those things for future cases, ill-gotten wealth cases, or your preliminary attachment, then we would believe they are serious about it.
Okay. One thing's for certain, lumiliit po ang mundo ni Congressman Zaldico at ni former presidential spokesperson Harry Roque. Maraming salamat, Attorney Domingo Cayosa, for breaking that down for us, former IBP president. Maraming salamat.
Maraming salamat. Good morning sa lahat.
Good morning. Up next, Senator Ping Lacson confirms the existence of a plot to overthrow the government and install a civilian-military junta. All that and more when Morning Matters returns. Keep it here in One News. Welcome back. You're still watching Morning Matters here in One News. Senator Ping Lacson confirmed the existence of a plot to overthrow the government and replace it with a civilian military junta. Lacson said some retired police and military officers had reached out, though he did not respond. He received the invitations before the Iglesia ni Cristo rally on November 16 and after the release of former Congressman Zaldico's first video statement. The alleged plan aimed to remove both the President, Bongbong Marcos, and Vice President Sara Duterte and establish a caretaker government. Senate President Tito Soto and Senator Erwin Tulfo also voiced opposition to the plot.
Hindi naman unstable, kundi sinasamantala nila yung perception nila na unstable yung government. Kaya nga sabi ko, mukhang orchestrated lahat yung series of events leading up to the INC rally. Di ba mayroon pang gusto mag-infiltrate na sasali sa INC rally? Ang intention was to march to Malacanang. Hindi lang pinayagan ng INC na pinalis nila yung mga BBM design.
It'll be very difficult. Anything unconstitutional as far as running the government is concerned, we will turn into a banana republic.
And joining us now to talk more about this, we have AFP spokesperson Colonel Francel Margaret Padilla. Magandang maga po, Colonel.
Good morning and good morning to all of your viewers and listeners.
Sinabi na po ni Senator Lacson na mayroon na pong lumapit sa kanya, inviting him for a civil-military junta. Can the AFP confirm if there is indeed a credible threat like that to the current government from retired or active officers?
From our side, no, Charmaine, from the Armed Forces of the Philippines, we consider this as all political noise. So from this point, no, we will not discuss this further because they are based on speculation, hearsay, or outright misinformation. Within the AFP, we remain to be focused on our mandate. So withdrawal of support is not going to happen AFP-wide.
Oo. Paano po political noise? Si Senator Lacson na po ang nag-confirm.
Yes, ma'am, no, it's inside, for us, inside the active service po, ma'am. So for us, we shun away from this. Ang sinabi naman po ni Senator Lacson, ma'am, these are retired officers. And paulit-ulit na po na issue po ito na lumalabas. So sa hanay po namin, internally within the AFP, we consider this as political noise po.
Oo. But even for retired officers, hindi po ba nasasaklaw din po yan ng AFP? What is the AFP doing about it?
Retired officers are already considered as civilians po. While we respect their views and ito pong mga pananaw nila, ma'am, no, they still act as advisors to us in many forums because dati naman po natin sila nakasama, nandun pa rin po yung respeto po natin sa kanila. But sa mga ganitong usapin po, anything unconstitutional, ma'am, no, we adhere to the Constitution, the constitutional processes, and of the chain of command po within the AFC.
Well, there was talk earlier about their pension and benefits being affected or might be affected. If the senator identifies yung mga retired officers po, posible po ba maapektuhan po yun?
Ma'am, ito naman ang ating pension kasi, ma'am, para patuloy po siyang matanggap, no, as a privilege. Meron naman pong mga clause na nakapapaloob dito. So if you are convicted of a crime, then yun po, ma'am, posible po, no, na makat ang pension. But pag wala naman pong criminal activity which you have been convicted on, patuloy naman po ito na ma-enjoy ng ating mga retirado, ma'am.
Yun lang ho ba? Paano po kung seditious remarks po ang nabitawan po ng mga retired military officers?
Still, ma'am, they will go through an investigation and if cases are filed and convicted sila, ma'am, that's the time po na affected po yung pension nila, ma'am. Opo.
Oo. Tama ho ba?
Hindi po siya outright. Hindi po siya outright na when you speak, matatanggalan ka ng pension. Misnomer po yun, ma'am.
Oo. Okay. But speaking of charges that can be filed, no, tama po ba to refer to Article 96 of the Articles of War, the conduct unbecoming an officer and gentleman, which says that engaging in seditious acts or making seditious statements can be classified, which mandates dismissal from the service upon conviction. So ito po ba ay applicable din sa mga retired military officers?
Wala na po kasing dismissal from the service because they're already retired po. So, yung seditious statements, ma'am, will fall under kung saan siya makakapaloob sa batas ka po natin. So, we refer that to the civilian courts to, to address. Kasi hindi na po sila itatry under the AFP po.
So sa ano na po, actual courts na, hindi na sa ano po ang tawag doon? Military court natin?
Court martial, yes.
Court
po.
martial,
Opo,
di na po doon?
Hindi po, ma'am.
So, okay. So, speaking of seditious remarks, no, ito pong nakaraang rally sa People Power Monument, pinatigil po ng Quezon City government yan on its third day because they deemed that seditious remarks were uttered coming from the UPI. It's the UPI, a group composed of retired military na nandun po sa People Power Monument. So hindi po nalalayo ito po mga tanong po natin tungkol sa seditious remarks. What would classify as seditious?
We leave that po to the court. Basta anything unconstitutional, ma'am, yun po yun. So kung ano po yung mga statements nila, pag it merits po certain investigations, kapag ito po ay nag-i-invoke na magkaroon po ng kaguluhan or anything to that effect, we leave that to the courts to to try and investigate upon. And kung ano po yung lumabas po dito sa kanilang investigasyon, rerespetuhin po ng Sandatahang Lakas ng Pilipinas yun. For our stance, we support this po. Opo. So yung kung ano po ang mga role na gagampanan po ng AFP dito, like for the investigation, kung meron pa kami kailangang maibigay for our intelligence units or kung ano man po, susuportahan po natin yan.
Because this is a thin line between freedom of speech and also seditious remarks, no? Does calling for the resignation of the president amount to sedition?
For here, ma'am, the Armed Forces of the Philippines po, we do not take any position on any legislative or political matter. So these are for our civilian leaders to decide.
Okay. So yun nga po yung tanong ng karamihan, dahil yung pagre-resign po ng presidente at pagre-resign po ng vice-presidente, marami na po ang nagtutulak niyan. Kabilang na po ang mga grupo mula sa bayan, makabayan. They are pushing for a transition council. Isn't that also extra constitutional? How is the AFP monitoring those calls?
For this ma'am, as a professional and a non-partisan institution po, yung ating Sandatahang Lakas ng Pilipinas po, ang duty po namin is to uphold the Constitution and protect the people. So we do not influence political decisions po. For this, ma'am, ang titingnan natin, anything that requires national security concerns, and if it merits the same, then we will make the necessary actions with that. Kung ano po yung role na gagampanan po natin para dyan.
Okay. But on November 30, there will be another big gathering composed of, I think, kasama na rin po itong leftist groups, kasama na rin po yung Tindig Pilipinas, kasama na rin po ng simbahan. How is the AFP preparing for the big protest come November 30?
The AFP, through our NCR command po, is working closely with the NCRPO and the Philippine Coast Guard in preparation for the November 30 mass assembly. So as part of our readiness efforts, we are conducting joint civil defense management trainings. So we're doing tabletop exercises, and we are also conducting communication drills to ensure that effective coordination and rapid support, if needed, will be there on the day. So we emphasize po that the AFP's role in this for the rallies in the November 30 will remain strictly limited to supporting law enforcement and ensuring public safety. Ang primary kasi dyan, ma'am, is the PNP pa rin.
And how will you support the PNP?
So kasama tayo, ma'am, no, sa hanay niya ng as a supporting element. So standby po ang ating NCRCOM for that. We had like to emphasize, ma'am, that we'll fully respect itong people's right to peaceful assembly. And our personnel, we will continue to perform our duties in a professional, disciplined, and non-partisan manner. Na-prove na natin yan, ma'am, no, noong 21 September and this 16th to 18th November. And hopefully po, nitong November 30, magpatuloy pa rin po natin na maging peaceful itong mga rallies na ito.
So, bale magsa-side by side ho ang military at saka PNP?
Supporting tayo, ma'am. We are on standby po to augment if necessary.
Oo. And yun nga po, no, what is the assessment of a potential threat of a coup or destabilization?
We have already emphasized this, ma'am. There is no coup or destabilization within the ranks of the Armed Forces of the Philippines. We continue to uphold the Constitution and the constitutional processes po.
Okay, loud and clear from the AFP spokesperson herself. Maraming salamat po para sa inyong oras today. At good luck po, no, sa preparations po for this coming Sunday. That's on November 30. We have AFP spokesperson Colonel Francel Margaret Padilla.
Maraming salamat, ma'am, and magandang umaga.
Senator Erwin Tulfo has filed a resolution seeking a Senate Blue Ribbon investigation into the alleged misuse of letters of authority by BIR examiners. Tulfo says LOAs meant for tax audits are being abused as a money-making scheme, with businesses reporting extortion even after paying their taxes. He adds that complaints have reached multiple senators and that the alleged scheme has worsened since 2024. He wants former BIR Commissioner Romeo Lumagi summoned to explain how LOAs or LOAs were used under his term.
Ginagamit na raw po ng mga tauhan ng BIR itong LOA para mangikil. Habang abalang-abala po tayong lahat dito po sa flood control, may nangyayari pong korupsyon naman dito po sa Bureau of Internal Revenue. Kaya po nasabi ko po nga pangalawa sa corruption na ahensya. Number 1 po ang DPWH, pangalawa po ang Bureau of Internal Revenue. Dahil sobra-sobra po yung kanilang ginagawa. Kahit nagbayad na po yung isang negosyante, negosyo ng kanyang buwis, i-inspeksyonin pa po.
Former BIR Chief Kim Henares told The Big Story that LOAs or LOAs can be weaponized without strict controls and repeatedly issued to the same businesses, creating opportunities for corruption.
Can be weaponized if you don't have any control measure. No? How do you control it? By setting policies on who you can audit. You cannot just have a free for all that you can audit anyone. Normally, there's a policy, that there's a big discrepancy.
The Trillion Peso March movement said there will be no calls for President Bongbong Marcos or Vice President Sara Duterte to resign during the November 30 rally. Now, they fear that another political dynasty could fill the leadership vacuum, and the movement also opposes a military junta, a revolutionary government, or any other extra-constitutional actions. Some areas have suspended classes today, November 25, as Tropical Depression Verbena and the shear line continue to bring heavy rain. In Metro Manila, Pasig, Mandaluyong, Valenzuela, Pateros, and San Juan City have canceled face-to-face classes. In Calabarzon, select towns in Laguna and Quezon, including San Pablo City, Calawag, Ginayangan, Tagkawayan, Lopez, and Atimonan, have shifted to alternative learning or canceled classes. Marinduque, Oriental Mindoro, Palawan, and Romblon have also issued suspensions. Now, in Western and Central Visayas, classes are suspended in Bohol, Cebu, Antique, Aklan, Capiz, Guimaras, and Iloilo. Tacloban City, Northern Samar, and Samar have also canceled classes. Schools in Northern Mindanao, Caraga, and the Negros Island region, including Bacolod, are suspended today. Tropical Depression Verbena maintains its strength as it moves towards the Negros Island region. Pag-asa last spotted its center over the coastal waters of Pinamungahan, Cebu. Verbena will continue moving northwestward across the Visayas and the northern portion of Palawan before emerging over the West Philippine Sea by tomorrow. It will then turn westward and pass north of Calayan Islands and exit the Philippine Area of Responsibility by Thursday. Several areas in Visayas and Mindanao remain under signal number 1. Don't go away, we got more matters to discuss after a quick break. Keep it here on One News. Welcome back. You're still watching Morning Matters here in One News. Kentin Miliora Brown is set for his international debut after Coach Tim Cohn named him to the Gilas Pilipinas roster for the first window of the FIBA World Cup Asian qualifiers. The 6'11" center will compete against Guam on November 28 in Yigo Village and on December 1 in Quezon City. Also making the final 12 of this Gilas lineup are RJ Abarientos, Japeth Aguilar, AJ Edu, Junmar Fajardo, Chris Newsome, CJ Perez, Kevin Kiambao, Dwight Ramos, Carl Tamayo, Scotty Thompson, and Justin Brownlee. Juan Gomez de Llano, Troy Rosario, and Jamie Malonzo were the last cuts, though Cohn stressed they remain part of the program. PLDT is through to the semifinals of the PVL Reinforced Conference after eliminating Signal in 4 sets. The high-speed hitters avenged their earlier loss to the Super Spikers. Savvy Davison led PLDT with 21 points, while Russian import Anastasia added 15 and 12 digs. PLDT now moves on to a knockout semifinal against Zeus Coffee. Signal, which had won 5 of its last 6 matches, bowed out of the title contention. And President Bongbong Marcos and First Lady Liza Araneta Marcos led the annual Christmas tree lighting ceremony at the Kalayaan Grounds in Malacanang. And in his message, President Marcos highlighted the deep cultural significance of Christmas for Filipinos, noting that the country begins celebrating as early as September. He emphasized that the season is a time for families to reunite, especially for overseas Filipino workers who often return home only during Christmas. The President and First Lady also awarded the winners of Isang Bituin, Isang Mithiin parole-making contest, now on its 4th year.
Like I've always said, we are the only country that puts up Christmas decorations starting in September. And people cannot understand why that is. But that is because we are Pinoys. And Pinoys have Christmas has a special meaning to Filipinos. Christmas is for children. But, children of all ages though. Because whatever age you are, you can still enjoy Christmas as well as any child.
Meanwhile, the John Hay hotels in Baguio City burst into Christmas magic as lights, music, and holiday cheer officially welcomed the season. Mobile Journal Arles de los Santos with the report.
In a night filled with sparkle and joy, the forest wing of the John Hay Hotels illuminated just in time for the holidays. From the choir singing the best Christmas songs with their hearts out, accompanied by an adorable little drummer boy marching through the carpet, to the giant mistletoes and the unicorns hanging in Christmas trees, the spirit of Christmas truly felt alive.
3, 2, and 1!
Long known as the summer capital of the Philippines, the John Hay Hotels now aim to make Baguio shine brighter as the Christmas capital of the country, where pine-scented breezes, cool crisp air, and shimmering lights create perfect setting for cherished holiday memories. This year's theme, entitled A Magical Sear Christmas, symbolized celebration of hope, renewal, and togetherness.
The instruction to the team was really, we want this Christmas celebration to be outstanding, better than last year, and the instruction this year would be, for next year it should be better than this year. So basically, us here in John Hay Hotels, what we really want to do is really just create a venue for these family get-togethers, for these bonding moments to happen. So that's basically what we're focusing on.
Also present in the event is Roberto Garcia, General Manager of the John Hay Hotels, who expressed his excitement to the merriest time of the year. At the Forest Wing, revelers can enjoy a vibrant lineup of activities from 11 a.m. until 10 p.m., including holiday harmonies and acoustic nights, encounters with Santa and his elves, and cherish the traditions such as Simbang Gabi and Misa de Gallo. A chill-out session can also be enjoyed in the Helipad Summit Garden. Wrapping up the night is an amazing fireworks display, signaling a new chapter for the John Hay Hotels and a start of an enchanting holiday festivity that awaits.
Please come visit us at the John Hay Hotels. Man, the Christmas lights are beautiful. I'm sure your kids would love it. The spirit is here. It's a different Christmas feels in this place. So please drop by. Pay us a visit. I don't think you'll regret it.
Kapatid Arles de los Santos, we are One News.
And that wraps up today's episode of Morning Matters on this Tuesday morning. We hope we've given you the right start to your day. Let's go ahead and make the day matter. My name is Gretchen Hall. Kapatid, we are One News, all sides, all the time.